Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the New Horizon and watched the stars through the big window. He had been in space for 3 years now, but the sight still amazed him. Earth was far behind them, and they were exploring new worlds that no human had ever seen before. The ship was not very big. It only had 50 people on board. Most of them were scientists who studied alien life and new planets. Jake was different. He was a diplomat, which meant his job was to talk to alien races when they found them. So far, they had met 5 different alien species. Most of them were friendly, but they all thought humans were not very important. Jake did not mind this. Humans were new to space travel. They had only learned how to go faster than light 5 years ago. Before that, they were stuck on Earth and a few nearby planets. The aliens had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. Of course, they thought humans were just beginners. Dr. Alex Stone walked up to Jake. Alex was the ship's main scientist who studied alien life. He was a thin man with gray hair and thick glasses. "Jake, we are getting a strange signal," he said. "It is coming from the Zentari home world." Jake knew about the Zentari. They were one of the most powerful alien groups in this part of the galaxy. The Zentari Confederation included 7 different alien species. They had advanced technology and controlled many star systems. Humans had only met them once before, and the meeting had not gone well. The Zentari leader had called humans barely evolved animals and told them to stay in their own small corner of space. "What kind of signal?" Jake asked. "It is encrypted, but our computers broke the code. The message is for you specifically. It is from their Prime Minister, Veltar Kesh." Jake was surprised. Why would such an important alien leader want to talk to him? "Play the message," he said. The main screen lit up, and Jake saw the face of Veltar Kesh. The Zentari looked like a cross between a lizard and a bird. His skin was green and covered in small scales. His eyes were large and yellow. When he spoke, his voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. "Human diplomat Morrison," the alien said. "I am Prime Minister Veltar Kesh of the Zentari Confederation. I send this message because we need your help. We are facing total destruction." Jake felt his heart beat faster. The Zentari were asking humans for help. This had never happened before. The message continued. "Our ancient enemy has returned. They are called the Void Hunters. They are machines that eat entire planets. They have already destroyed 3 of our worlds. Our armies cannot stop them. We have tried everything." The screen showed pictures of the destruction. Jake saw cities burning in huge black ships in the sky. The Void Hunters looked like giant metal spiders with many arms. They were tearing apart buildings and swallowing everything. "We know your species is young," Veltar Kesh said, "but you have shown skill in warfare. Your history is full of conflicts. You understand fighting in ways that we do not. We are asking for your military help. In return, we will share all our technology with you. Please respond quickly. We do not have much time." The message ended. Jake stared at the blank screen. This was incredible. The Zentari were offering to share their advanced technology that could make humanity one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. "We need to contact Earth immediately," Jake said. Dr. Stone nodded. "I have been studying the data they sent about these Void Hunters. Jake, if what they say is true, these machines are very dangerous. They do not just destroy planets. They turn everything into more of themselves. If they finish with the Zentari, they will keep spreading. And we would be next," Jake said. "Exactly." Jake sent the message to Earth, using the fastest communication method they had. It would still take 2 days for the signal to reach home, and 2 more days to get an answer. While they waited, Jake studied everything he could about the Zentari and the Void Hunters. The Zentari Confederation was huge. They controlled over 40 star systems. Their technology was hundreds of years ahead of humanity's. Their ships could travel faster and fight better than anything humans had built. If they could not stop the Void Hunters, What chance did humans have? But maybe that was the point. Maybe the Centauri were too advanced for their own good. Jake had read human military history. Sometimes the most high-tech army lost to fighters who used simple but effective tactics. Maybe humans could see something. The aliens could not. 4 days later, the answer came from Earth. Admiral Lisa Carter appeared on the screen. She was the commander of Earth's first fleet, which included most of humanity's military spaceships. She was a tough woman with short, black hair and sharp blue eyes. "Morrison," she said, "President Sam Bradley has read your report. We are going to help the Centauri, but this will be limited. We cannot risk our entire fleet. I am bringing 3 battleships and 50,000 troops. The operation is called Helping Hand." Jake felt excited and worried at the same time. 3 ships did not sound like much against an enemy that had destroyed entire Centauri worlds. Admiral Carter continued, "I know what you are thinking. 3 ships is not a lot. But we are not going there to win their war for them. We are going to learn about this enemy and see if we can help. If things go badly, we will retreat. Earth's safety comes first." "Understood, Admiral," Jake said. "One more thing, Morrison. Dr. Stone's analysis of these void hunters is troubling. If they really can turn matter into more of themselves, they are not just a threat to the Centauri. They are a threat to all life in the galaxy. We need to understand them." The connection ended. Jake looked out at the stars again. Soon, Earth's ships would arrive, and they would jump to Centauri space. He wondered what they would find there. Would the Centauri still be alive when they arrived? Would humanity's small force make any difference? Dr. Stone joined him at the window. "Jake, I have been thinking about this. The Centauri have never asked anyone for help before. They have always believed they are superior to other species. For them to ask us, things must be very bad. Or maybe they are more desperate than they want to admit," Jake said. "There is something else. I have been studying their historical records. The Centauri are not telling us everything about these void hunters. There are gaps in their data, things that do not make sense." Jake turned to look at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean they know more about this enemy than they are sharing. The question is why they are hiding information from the people they are asking to help them." Jake felt a cold feeling in his stomach. If the Centauri were not being honest with them, this mission could be much more dangerous than anyone thought. But it was too late to turn back now. Earth's ships were already on there. Way out soon, humanity would learn what the Centauri were really asking them to do. Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of the Earth's Fury and watched the jump countdown. In 30 seconds, the human fleet would enter Centauri space. 3 battleships was not much of a fleet, but it was what Earth could spare. The ships, Earth's Fury, Liberty, and Defiant, carried the best soldiers and equipment humanity had. "Jump in 10 seconds, called out Commander Kate Phillips, the ship's navigation officer. She was a calm woman who never seemed nervous, even before a dangerous mission. "All ships ready," reported General Mike Rodriguez over the communication system. He was commanding the 50,000 troops spread across the 3 ships. Mike was a veteran soldier who had fought in the Mars Colony War. If anyone could lead human forces against alien enemies, it was him. "Jump now," Kate said. The stars changed. One moment they were looking at empty space, and the next they could see the Centauri home system, but something was wrong. Jake Morrison, who was now on the Earth's Fury as the diplomatic liaison, had expected to see a busy system full of ships and space stations. Instead, he saw destruction. "My God," Dr. Alex Stone whispered. He was also on the bridge, studying the enemy they were about to face. 2 of the Centauri planets were gone, not destroyed, gone. Where they should have been, there were only empty spaces and floating debris. The debris was moving, forming into new shapes. The Void Hunters were still there, building new ships from the remains of dead worlds. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Ben Foster, from the communications station. "We are getting a signal from Zentari Prime." The main screen showed Prime Minister Veltarkesh, but he looked very different from the recording they had seen. His green scales were pale, and his yellow eyes were wide with fear. Behind him, Jake could see smoke and flashing lights. "Admiral Carter," the alien said, "thank you for coming. The situation is worse than we reported. We have lost 4 worlds now, not 3. The Void Hunters consumed Kepler-4 for 2b yesterday. We estimate we have less than 1 week before they attack our home world." Admiral Carter's face was grim. "Prime Minister, we need to see the enemy ourselves before we can help. Where are they now?" "They are at Kepler-4 for 2b, the mining world. Our War Master HFY 9 will brief you on our defense plans. But Admiral, I must warn you, these machines are unlike anything we have faced. They adapt quickly. They learn from each battle." The connection ended. Admiral Carter turned to her. "Officers. Kate, set course for Kepler-4 for 2b. We need to see what we are dealing with." As they traveled to the mining world, Jake met with War Master HFY 9 on a secure channel. The Zentari military leader was different from the Prime Minister. Where Veltarkesh seemed scared, HFY 9 seemed angry. His scales were darker, almost black, and he had scars across his face. "Human," HFY 9 said, "I do not think you can help us. Your species has only been in space for a few years. These Void Hunters have been our enemy for centuries. But the Prime Minister insists we try everything." Jake kept his voice calm. "War Master, we may be new to space, but humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. Maybe we can see something you have missed." HFY 9 made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your 3 small ships against an enemy that destroyed our entire 7th Fleet. Human, you will run when you see what we face, and maybe that is wise." When they reached Kepler-4 for 2b, Jake understood why the War Master was so negative. The planet was being eaten alive. Huge black machines covered the surface like a swarm of metal insects. They were breaking down everything, rocks, buildings, even the atmosphere, and turning it all into more machines. "Sensors show over 10,000 individual Void Hunter units," reported Lieutenant Foster, "plus 3 massive command ships in orbit." Dr. Stone was studying the readings. "Admiral, these things are incredible. They are not just destroying the planet. They are using every atom to build more of themselves. It is like watching a cancer that never stops growing." "Can we fight them?" Admiral Carter asked. General Rodriguez answered from his ship. "Ma'am, I have been studying their patterns. They use swarm tactics. Lots of small, fast units supported by big ships with heavy weapons. The Zentari have been trying to fight them ship to ship, but that plays to the Hunter's strengths. What do you suggest? Hit and run tactics. Use our mobility. The Zentari fight like they are in a formal duel. These machines do not care about honor or fair play. We should not either." War Master HFY 9 was listening to their conversation. "General Rodriguez, you do not understand. We have tried everything. These machines cannot be reasoned with. They cannot be frightened. They only know how to consume and grow." "Maybe," Mike said, "but they are still machines. Machines follow patterns. Patterns can be broken." The first battle happened 2 hours later. A group of Void Hunters detected the human ships and moved to attack. Jake watched from the bridge as 50 enemy ships approached their position. "All ships, prepare for combat," Admiral Carter ordered. The Zentari had warned them that the Void Hunters used energy weapons that could slice through most armor. They also had shields that protected them from similar attacks. But humans had something different. Fire kinetic rounds. General Rodriguez commanded. The human ships launched old-fashioned metal bullets, but these bullets were moving at nearly the speed of light, powered by magnetic accelerators. The Void Hunters' energy shields were designed to stop laser beams and plasma bolts. They were not ready for solid projectiles. 12 enemy ships were destroyed in the first volley. The remaining Void Hunters seemed confused. They had never faced this type of weapon before. Follow-up attack, Admiral Carter ordered. All ships, focus fire. The human fleet moved together, concentrating their fire on small groups of enemies. Instead of spreading out like the Centauri did, they stayed close and supported each other. Within 10 minutes, all 50 Void Hunter ships were destroyed. War Master Hexial 9 was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "How did you do that?" "Our weapons barely scratched their hulls." "Different weapons, different tactics," Mike explained. "Your people fight with honor. These machines do not deserve honor. They deserve destruction." But the victory was small. Jake could see thousands more Void Hunter ships around the planet. They had destroyed 50 enemies, but there were too many more to count. Dr. Stone had been studying the wreckage. "Admiral, I found something interesting. These machines all connect to each other through some kind of network. They share information instantly. That is how they adapt so quickly." "Can we disrupt this network?" Kate asked. "Maybe, but it would require hitting multiple targets at the same time across a large area. We would need a much bigger fleet." Admiral Carter made her decision. "We are pulling back to regroup with the Centauri fleet. This enemy is too big for 3 ships to handle alone." As they retreated, Jake noticed something on the communication system. There was a message being sent on a Centauri military frequency. Lieutenant Foster was monitoring all transmissions, as was standard procedure during combat operations. "Admiral," Ben said quietly, "you need to hear this." The message was between War Master Hexial 9 and someone else, speaking in the Zent language. But the ship's computer could translate it. "The humans fought better than expected," Hexial 9 was saying. "Their weapons are primitive, but effective." "Good," replied another voice. "Let them weaken the Void Hunters for us. When both enemies are exhausted, we can finish what remains. And the humans, they will die in battle, as is fitting for such a violent species. The galaxy will be safer when they are gone." Jake felt cold anger fill his chest. The Centauri were not just asking for help. They were planning to let humanity die fighting their war. Admiral Carter's face was hard as stone. "Ben, send a priority message to Earth. Tell them exactly what we just heard, and tell them to prepare for a much larger operation." "What kind of operation, ma'am?" "The kind that shows the Centauri what happens when you betray the wrong species." Jake looked out at the stars and thought about home. Earth had sent 3 ships to help allies in need, but they had not found allies. They had found enemies who wanted to use humanity as expendable soldiers. Soon, the Centauri would learn that humans did not like being used, and when humanity got angry, the results were never pretty. War Master Hexial 9 had said that humans would run when they saw what they faced. He was wrong. Humans did not run from fights. They brought more friends. President Sam Bradley sat in the Oval Office and read the message from Admiral Carter for the 3rd time. The words made him angrier each time he saw them. The Centauri had asked for help, then planned to let human soldiers die while they watched, safely from the back lines. "They think we are stupid," he said to Defense Secretary Mary Johnson, who was sitting across from his desk. "They think we will just fight their war and die for them." Mary was a former general who had commanded troops in several conflicts. She understood military thinking better than most politicians. "Mr. President, this changes everything. We cannot trust the Centauri, but we still have the Void Hunter problem. If those machines finish eating Centauri space, they will come for us next." "I know," Sam said. "But the Centauri made a big mistake. They asked humanity for help. Now they are going to get all the help they can handle." He pressed a button on his desk. "Get me General Frank Patterson at the Pentagon." General Patterson appeared on the screen. He was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranking military officer in the human armed forces. Frank was an old soldier, with gray hair and serious eyes. "Mr. President," Frank said, "I assume this is about the Zentari situation." "Frank, I am authorizing Operation Total Victory. I want every available ship, every available soldier, and every available weapon sent to Zentari space." "How long will it take?" Frank was quiet for a moment. "Sir, that is a massive operation. We are talking about mobilizing our entire military and most of our civilian shipbuilding capacity. If we do this, we will be committed to total war." "Good," Sam said. "The Zentari wanted to see how humans fight. Let us show them." Back in Zentari space, Jake Morrison was meeting with Admiral Carter and her senior officers. The mood in the room was grim. They had received confirmation from Earth that Operation Total Victory was approved. In 6 months, humanity would have the largest fleet in its history ready for combat. "6 months is a long time, Commander Kate," Phillips said. "The Zentari might not last that long." Dr. Alex Stone had been studying the Void Hunters constantly since their first battle. "I have some good news and some bad news," he said. "The good news is that I think I found their weakness. The bad news is that exploiting it will require perfect timing across multiple star systems." "Explain, Admiral Carter," said Alex. "Put a diagram on the main screen." "The Void Hunters use a quantum communication network to coordinate all their units. Every machine is connected to every other machine instantly, no matter how far apart they are. That is how they adapt so quickly to new threats." "How is that good news?" Jake asked. "Because quantum networks have a flaw. If you can generate the right kind of electromagnetic pulse at the right frequency, you can overload the entire network. It would be like giving every Void Hunter machine a massive headache at the same time." General Rodriguez leaned forward. "What do you need to do this?" "Synchronized attacks on at least 12 different Void Hunter command nodes. The timing has to be perfect, within 1 second of each other, and the attacks have to be powerful enough to generate the electromagnetic pulse." Kate did the math quickly. "We would need at least 40 ships to pull that off. We only have 3. That is why we wait for reinforcements," Admiral Carter said. "In the meantime, we help the Zentari defend their remaining worlds, but we do it on our terms, not theirs." The next few months were busy. Human ships arrived regularly, small groups at first, then larger fleets. Each time a new group arrived, the Zentari leaders became more nervous. They had expected a few dozen ships to help with their war. Instead, they were watching the largest military buildup in galactic history. War Master Hexial 9 tried to give orders to the human forces, but General Rodriguez politely ignored him. The humans fought their own battles in their own way. They used hit-and-run tactics, ambushes, and coordinated strikes that the Zentari had never seen before. More importantly, the humans were winning. They destroyed Void Hunter scouts, raided enemy supply lines, and rescued Zentari civilians from occupied worlds. Each victory made the alien military leaders more uncomfortable. Prime Minister Veltar Kesh called a meeting with Admiral Carter after 3 months of human operations. Jake attended as the diplomatic representative. The meeting took place on a Zentari space station near their home world. Admiral Carter Veltar Kesh said, "We are grateful for your help, but your fleet is becoming very large. Some of my advisors are concerned." "Concerned about what?" Admiral Carter asked. Her voice was calm, but Jake could see the anger in her eyes. "About human intentions. You now have more ships in our space than we do. This was supposed to be a limited assistance operation." Admiral Carter smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Prime Minister, you asked for our help against an enemy that threatens all life in the galaxy. We are giving you that help. Are you complaining?" "Of course not. We simply want to ensure that when this war is over, things return to normal." "Normal," Admiral Carter repeated. "You mean the normal where you call humans barely evolved animals and tell us to stay in our corner of space?" Veltar Kesh's scales changed color slightly. "Admiral, I think there has been a misunderstanding." No misunderstanding, Jake said. We know about your plan to let human forces die while you watch from safety. We know you think the galaxy will be safer when we are gone. The silence in the room was thick. Veltar Kesh looked at War Master Hexial 9, who looked away. They had been caught. Admiral Veltar Kesh said carefully, "Perhaps we can negotiate new terms for our alliance." "There are no new terms," Admiral Carter said. "There is only this. We will destroy the Void Hunters completely. Then we will deal with the people who tried to betray us." She stood up to leave. "Prime Minister, you made the mistake of asking humanity for help. Now you will get all the help you can handle, whether you want it or not." As they walked back to their shuttle, Jake felt both satisfied and worried. The Zentari deserved what was coming to them, but this meant humanity was committing to a much larger conflict than anyone had planned. "Admiral," he said, "are we doing the right thing? This is going to change everything." "Jake," she replied, "the Zentari started this when they decided to use us as expendable soldiers. They could have been honest partners. Instead, they chose to be enemies. Now they will learn what that means." Dr. Alex Stone was waiting for them on the shuttle. "Admiral, I have been monitoring Zentari communications. They are reaching out to other alien governments. They are trying to build a coalition against us." "Are any of them responding?" "Some are. The Rigel Syndicate and the Vegan Trade Union are sending ships to Zentari space. They say it is to help with humanitarian aid, but they are really coming to fight us," Admiral Carter finished. "How many ships?" "About 200, spread across both fleets." Admiral Carter was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. "Alex, send a message to Earth. Tell President Bradley that we need Phase 2 of Operation Total Victory." "What is Phase 2? Jake asked. "Phase 1 was destroying the Void Hunters. Phase 2 is showing the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity." As their shuttle flew back to the human fleet, Jake looked out at the stars. 6 months ago, humanity had been a minor species that no one took seriously. Now they were about to become the dominant power in this sector of the galaxy. The Zentari had asked for help against an ancient enemy. Instead, they had awakened a new one. And this enemy was not made of machines that could be reasoned with or negotiated with. This enemy was humanity. And humanity did not forget betrayal. War Master Hexial 9 had been wrong about one thing. Humans did not run when they saw what they faced. They brought bigger guns. 6 months after Operation Total Victory began, the human fleet in Zentari space numbered over 2,000 ships. What had started as 3 battleships was now the largest military force in galactic history. Admiral Lisa Carter stood on the bridge of her flagship and watched the final preparations for the assault on the Void Hunter home base. The enemy had been pushed back to their original stronghold, a massive artificial structure built from the remains of dead worlds. Dr. Alex Stone estimated that the structure contained over 1 million Void Hunter units. It was their main factory, command center, and fortress all in one. "All fleet commanders, report status," Admiral Carter ordered. The responses came in from across the massive fleet. General Mike Rodriguez commanded the assault divisions. Commander Kate Phillips led the support squadrons. Major Tony Garcia was ready with his special forces teams. Every unit was in position, but the Void Hunters were not the only enemy anymore. The Zentari had made their choice. Instead of accepting human help gracefully, they had allied with other alien species to try to remove humanity from their space. The Rigel Syndicate and Vegan Trade Union fleets were positioned between the humans and the Void Hunter stronghold. War Master Hexial 9 appeared on the communication screen. Behind him, Jake Morrison could see the bridges of other alien warships. The Zentari had gathered every ally they could find. Admiral Carter, Hexial 9 said, "We demand that you withdraw your forces from Zentari space immediately. This conflict is over. We will handle the remaining Void Hunters ourselves." Admiral Carter laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. War Master, you tried to use my people as cannon fodder. You betrayed the alliance you asked for. Now, you want us to leave before we finish the job? The human fleet is too large, said a new voice. Jake recognized the speaker as Admiral Kethver of the Rigel Syndicate. You pose a threat to galactic stability. We cannot allow you to remain here. Cannot allow. General Rodriguez's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, are these aliens threatening us? It sounds like they are, General. Dr. Stone had been monitoring the alien fleet positions. Admiral, they have us outnumbered about 3-1. The combined alien fleet has over 6,000 ships. Major, Garcia joined the conversation from his assault ship. Ma'am, my intelligence teams have been watching their communications. They are planning to attack us as soon as we engage the Void Hunters. They want both human and Void Hunter forces to destroy each other. Admiral Carter nodded. She had expected this. All units, implement Battle Plan Omega. We are now fighting on 2 fronts. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Instead of attacking the Void Hunter's stronghold directly, the human fleet would force the aliens to choose sides. If the Zentari and their allies wanted to protect the Void Hunters, they would have to fight through humanity to do it. General Rodriguez, begin the assault. Major Garcia, deploy your teams to the Zentari command ships. Dr. Stone, activate the electromagnetic pulse weapons. The battle began with the humans doing something no one expected. Instead of spreading out to fight the larger alien fleet, they concentrated their entire force into a tight formation and drove straight at the Void Hunter's stronghold. The alien coalition tried to intercept them, but human tactics were unlike anything they had seen before. Human ships did not try to win elegant duels in space. They used overwhelming firepower, coordinated attacks, and brutal efficiency. The Earth's Fury led the charge, its kinetic weapons tearing through alien shields that were designed to stop energy beams. Behind it, hundreds of human ships followed. In perfect formation, they moved like a spear thrust directly at the heart of the enemy. Their shields are useless against our weapons, Commander Phillips reported. The aliens built their defenses to fight other aliens, not us. The Rigel Syndicate tried to flank the human formation, but Major Garcia's special forces were already aboard their command ships. Human soldiers were not like alien warriors. They did not fight with honor or according to traditional rules. They fought to win. Rigel command ship disabled, Garcia reported. Their computer systems are completely different from ours, but explosives work the same everywhere. War Master Hexule 9 tried to rally the alien forces. All ships concentrate fire on the human flagship. We must stop their advance. But the human advance could not be stopped. Admiral Carter had planned for this moment for months. Every human ship knew exactly what to do. They had trained for this battle until they could fight it in their sleep. Dr. Stone, are you ready with the electromagnetic pulse? Admiral Carter asked. Yes, ma'am. All 12 pulse generators are in position around the Void Hunter stronghold. When we activate them, every Void Hunter machine in the system will be disabled. Do it. The pulse weapons fired simultaneously. Jake watched as waves of energy washed over the massive Void Hunter structure. The effect was immediate. The millions of machines that had been moving and building suddenly stopped. Their quantum communication network was overloaded, leaving each unit isolated and confused. All Void Hunter units are offline, Dr. Stone reported. The network is completely disrupted. Now came the second part of the plan. Human ships poured through the gaps in the alien formation and surrounded the helpless Void Hunter stronghold. The machines that had consumed entire worlds were now sitting ducks. All units, open fire. Admiral Carter ordered. 2,000 human ships began the systematic destruction of the Void Hunter base. There was no mercy, no hesitation, and no prisoners. The machines had shown no mercy to the worlds they consumed. they would receive none in return. But the humans were not finished. As the Void Hunter's stronghold burned, human forces turned their attention to the alien fleet that had tried to stop them. The Zentari and their allies found themselves facing an enemy that fought unlike anyone they had ever encountered. Human ships used tactics that seemed impossible. They coordinated perfectly across vast distances. They adapted instantly to changing conditions. Most importantly, they never stopped attacking. Alien military doctrine was based on formal combat, with rules and honor. Human military doctrine was based on winning at any cost. Admiral, War Master, Hexuel 9, called over the communication system. His voice was desperate now. "We surrender. Please stop your attack." "Surrender, Admiral Carter," said War Master. "You betrayed people who came to help you. You allied with others to destroy us. Why would we accept your surrender?" "Because we made a mistake. We did not understand." "You are right. You did not understand. You thought humanity was weak because we are young. You thought we would fight your war and die quietly. You were wrong about everything." The battle was over in less than 4 hours. The Void Hunter's stronghold was completely destroyed. The alien coalition fleet was either captured or destroyed. The few Zentari ships that escaped carried news of humanity's victory back to their home. Worlds. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge and watched the aftermath. Floating in space around them were the remains of both the ancient enemy and the supposed allies who had betrayed them. "Admiral," he said, "what happens now?" Admiral Carter looked at him with tired eyes. "Now we establish a new order in this sector. The Zentari asked for our help. They got it. But they also chose to become our enemies. Now they will live with the consequences." Major Garcia's voice came over the communication system. "Admiral, we have captured Prime Minister Veltar Kesh and most of the Zentari leadership. What are your orders?" "Bring them to the flagship. It is time they learned what happens when you betray humanity." Dr. Stone was studying the sensor readings from the destroyed Void Hunter base. "Admiral, we have completely eliminated the Void Hunter threat. Every machine in the system is destroyed. The quantum network is permanently disrupted. They cannot rebuild." "Good," Admiral Carter said. "One enemy down." She looked out at the stars where human ships were taking control of former Zentari positions. "Jake, send a message to Earth. Tell President Bradley that Phase 2 is complete. We are ready for Phase 3. "What is Phase 3? Jake asked. Admiral Carter smiled. "Phase 3 is making sure this never happens again. The Zentari wanted to see human warfare. Now the entire galaxy will see what we are capable of when we are betrayed." As Jake composed the message to Earth, he thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, humanity had been a minor species, trying to help neighbors in need. Now they were the dominant military power in this part of the galaxy. The Zentari had asked for help against an ancient enemy. Instead, they had created a new one. And this enemy was not made of machines that could be defeated and forgotten. This enemy was humanity, and humanity did not forgive betrayal. The galaxy was about to learn what that meant. 1 year after the destruction of the Void Hunters, the galaxy was a very different place. Admiral Lisa Carter stood in what used to be the Zentari Council chamber and watched as the new order took shape. The building was still beautiful, with its crystal walls and floating platforms, but now it served a different purpose. Outside the windows, she could see human ships patrolling the skies of Zentari Prime. The planet was now called New Geneva, and it was the capital of the Human Protectorate. The Zentari flag no longer flew anywhere in the system. Prime Minister Veltar Kesh was brought into the chamber in restraints. The former leader of the Zentari Confederation looked much older than he had a year ago. His green scales were dull, and his yellow eyes held no trace of the arrogance he had once shown. "Veltar Kesh," Admiral Carter said, "you have been found guilty of conspiracy, betrayal of alliance, and crimes against humanity. The court has sentenced you to life imprisonment on the penal colony of Titan Base." The former prime minister said nothing. What was there to say? His civilization had asked for help and then tried to destroy their rescuers. Now they were paying the price. Jake Morrison, now serving as the first human governor of the Zen territories, read the final judgment. The Zentari Confederation is hereby dissolved. All former Zentari worlds are now under human administration. The surviving Zentari population will be relocated to designated reservation areas where they will be protected and provided for. Dr. Alex Stone was also in the chamber, but he was not watching the trial. He was studying reports from across the galaxy. The news was troubling. "Admiral," he said quietly, "we are receiving more intelligence from our deep space monitors. The Galactic Council is meeting in emergency session." The Galactic Council was the governing body for most of the galaxy's major civilizations. Humanity had never been invited to join because they were considered too young and primitive. Now the council was meeting to discuss the human problem. "What are they saying?" Admiral Carter asked. "They are calling us a threat to galactic peace. Several species are forming a new alliance specifically to contain human expansion. They call it the Coalition for Galactic Stability." Admiral Carter was not surprised. In the past year, humanity had not only conquered the former Zentari territories, but had also established protectorates over the Rigel Syndicate and the Vegan Trade Union. Human technology, enhanced by captured alien equipment, was now the most advanced in the galaxy. More importantly, human industrial capacity was overwhelming. Earth's colonies were producing ships and weapons faster than anyone thought possible. The same drive that had built a spacefaring civilization in just a few decades was now focused on military production. General Mike Rodriguez joined them in the chamber. He had been promoted to Supreme Commander of Human Military Forces and was responsible for defending all human territories. "Admiral, our intelligence networks report that the Coalition has over 15,000 ships ready for combat. They plan to attack our outer colonies first, then push toward Earth." "How many ships do we have?" Jake asked. 8,000 combat-ready vessels, with more being built every day. "But Admiral, we have something they do not." "What is that?" Mike smiled. "We have experience fighting total war. These alien species have been playing at conflict for centuries. They fight with rules and honor and limited objectives. We fight to win." Admiral Carter walked to the window and looked out at the human fleet in orbit. Each ship represented the culmination of human engineering and determination. They were not the most elegant vessels in the galaxy, but they were the most effective. "Mike, what is the status of Project Deep Strike? Ready for implementation? We have sleeper agents on over 50 alien worlds. When you give the word, we can disable their communication networks, sabotage their shipyards, and eliminate their military leadership simultaneously." Dr. Stone looked up from his reports. "Admiral, there is something else. We intercepted a message from the Galactic Council to the Coalition fleet. They are asking for help against humanity." Admiral Carter turned back to the group. "Help from whom?" "From any species willing to fight. They are promising advanced technology and territorial concessions to anyone who joins their cause." Jake felt a familiar cold anger. They are doing the same thing the Zentari did, asking for help to fight their battles. "The difference," Admiral Carter said, "is that they are asking other people to fight us. The Zentari asked us to fight for them. The Coalition is asking others to fight against us." Commander Kate Phillips entered the chamber with an urgent message. "Admiral, we just received a priority transmission from Earth. President Sam Bradley wants to speak with you immediately." The main screen activated, showing the president in the Oval Office. Sam Bradley looked tired, but determined. Behind him, Jake could see military advisors and maps of the galaxy. "Admiral Carter," the president said, "I have been monitoring the situation with the Coalition. Congress has authorized Operation Final Answer. You are to take whatever action is necessary to ensure that humanity never faces this kind of threat again. Mr. President, are you authorizing preemptive action against the coalition? Admiral, they have declared their intention to destroy or contain human civilization. They have assembled the largest military force in galactic history, specifically to attack us. Yes, I am authorizing preemptive action. Admiral Carter nodded. Understood, sir. We will implement Operation Final Answer immediately. After the transmission ended, Admiral Carter addressed her senior staff. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to fight the largest war in galactic history, but we are not fighting it the way our enemies expect. She activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. Red dots marked coalition territories and fleets. Blue dots showed human positions. The coalition expects us to meet their fleet in open battle. Instead, we are going to do what humans do best. What is that? Jake asked. We are going to be unpredictable. Over the next 3 months, humanity launched the most comprehensive military campaign in galactic history. But it was not the kind of war anyone expected. Instead of massive fleet battles, human forces struck everywhere at once. Coalition shipyards exploded simultaneously. Communication networks went dark. Military commanders disappeared in the night. Supply lines were severed. Homeworlds found themselves cut off from their fleets. Major Tony Garcia led special forces teams that infiltrated alien governments and military commands. His soldiers did not fight like traditional warriors. They fought like ghosts, striking without warning and vanishing before anyone could respond. The coalition fleet, assembled to fight a conventional war, found itself fighting an enemy that refused to be conventional. Human ships appeared out of nowhere, struck hard, and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. Dr. Stone's technological advances gave humanity another advantage. Human ships could now travel faster than any alien vessel. Human weapons could penetrate any alien defense. Human sensors could track enemies across vast distances. But the most important advantage was something the aliens had never understood about humanity. Humans did not fight wars to win battles. They fought wars to end them permanently. 6 months after Operation Final Answer began, the Coalition for Galactic Stability surrendered unconditionally. Their fleets were destroyed or captured. Their governments were in chaos. Their civilizations were at humanity's mercy. Admiral Carter stood once again in the former Zentari Council chamber, but now it was the center of a much larger empire. The human galactic authority controlled over 200 star systems. Earth's flag flew on worlds that had never heard of humanity 2 years before. Jake Morrison, now serving as the first human ambassador to the galaxy, was reading reports from across human space. Admiral, we are receiving surrender offers from 17 different species. They want to join the human protectorate rather than face continued military action. Accept their surrenders, Admiral Carter said, but make it clear that this protection comes with conditions. No species under human protection will ever again be allowed to threaten Earth or human colonies. Dr. Stone was monitoring communications from the remaining free alien civilizations. Admiral, we are picking up some interesting transmissions. It seems the Andromedans are considering asking for our help against their enemies in the Sagittarius Arm. Admiral Carter smiled. The Andromedans were one of the oldest and most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. A year ago, they would have laughed at the idea of asking humans for help. What do you think, Jake? She asked. Should we help them? Jake thought about how this had all started. The Zentari had asked for help against an ancient enemy. They had planned to use humanity and then discard them. Instead, they had unleashed something they could not control. Admiral, he said, I think we should be very careful about who we help, and very clear about what we expect in return. Agreed. Send a message to the Tell them we are willing to discuss their request. but make it clear that humanity does not provide help without guarantees. As Jake composed the message, he reflected on how much had changed. 2 years ago, humanity had been a minor species that no one took seriously. Now they were the dominant power in the galaxy, and ancient civilizations were asking for their help. The Centauri had asked for help and received total war. The Coalition had asked for help and received total defeat. Now the Andromedans were asking for help. Admiral Carter looked out at the stars, where human ships patrolled space that had once belonged to other species. Jake, do you think we did the right thing? Jake considered the question carefully. Admiral, the Centauri could have been honest allies. The Coalition could have chosen peace over war. Every species that fought us had a choice. They chose to see humanity as a threat to be eliminated, rather than a partner to be respected. And now they know better. The galaxy is safer because no one will ever again think they can use humanity and throw us away. Admiral Carter nodded. The Centauri wanted to see human warfare. The Coalition wanted to contain human expansion. The Andromedans want human help. She smiled as she watched a new group of human colonists arriving at what used to be an alien world. They all got exactly what they asked for. In the end, the galaxy learned an important lesson about humanity. When humans offered help, it was genuine. When humans were betrayed, the response was total. And when humans decided to end a threat, they did not stop until that threat no longer existed. The Centauri had asked for help against an ancient enemy. Instead, they had awakened a new, dominant power that would reshape the galaxy for centuries to come. Sometimes, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it.